This is Herbal Clean. Carbo 16 mega strength cleansing formula. 100% guaranteed to make you clean. And believe me, I've tested it. And it works. It's only a 16 ounce. You open it up. Take the cap off. It's got that foil seal on it. You pop the seal off. You drink it down. And then what I usually do is fill it back up with water, you know. So every little drop is back into your system. And then you drink yourself like a couple of waters. You take a leak twice and you're clean. You're good. You're clean for 5 hours, man.
Drug tests are for people who are suspected to be on drugs and show signs that they are under the influence and should not be participating in most activities. Children are going to be children no matter how old they are. They are going to want to try new things out. Not saying it's right, but it's life. We can't always babysit the youth. They are going to start learning on their own. The only thing we are left to do is teach them and hope to God that they eventually learn their lesson. Drug tests are just going to make them want to do drugs just because they know that it is not right, and we are forcing them not to. So I stand negative on providing junior high and senior high school students with random drug tests throughout the United States.
Well, parents who suspect that their child has a drug problem, they want to help, but how can they actually confirm it? And should they get their kids tested, or is that crossing the line? Dr. Leslie Walker from Children's Hospital is here to talk more about that. Dr. Walker, good morning.
Good morning.
This is the question for parents. Should they get their kids drug tested or not? And is it a violation of their privacy? What's your first reaction to that?
Well, I think it's very tempting, especially because there's all kinds of kits and ways to buy those drug testing kits for parents. But both the Society for Adolescent Medicine and the Academy of Pediatrics don't recommend that parents drug test their kids.
Contention 1. Drug tests are not an accurate measure of academic ability. More intelligent individuals are more likely to consume all types of psychiatric drugs more frequently than less intelligent individuals, as Salshi Kwanzaa stated. Nothing can hinder a child's learning but the child themselves. The more intelligent you are, the more chances you have at being found to drink and do drugs. Drug tests don't prevent you from learning, although they may prevent you from focusing.
Adderall, like, I could be on it right now and even know, so it's not like...
This USC student doesn't want to reveal his identity because he takes a prescription drug illegally. He takes Adderall, which helps control the symptoms of attention deficit hyperactive disorder. He takes it to help him perform better on exams.
It helps, I guess, you to focus on that one thing and not think about everything else that's going on.
A study from the University of California says Adderall is becoming increasingly common. 14% of students say they have been asked to sell, trade, or distribute Adderall, while only 2% have a prescription. One USC student who doesn't want to be identified as using prescribed ADHD medicine, so she doesn't get asked as much by her friends for her medicine.
Drug tests cannot limit the amount of disruption in the classroom. Due to Tracy Lawrence's statement, we have all experienced a low-level disruption in class. Chair walking, humming, pen tapping, note passing, just disruptive enough to slow the pace of your lesson, but not dramatic enough to draw it to a halt. It can be concluded that not all disruption in a classroom has to come from students that are currently under the influence of some drugs. Students who are sober cause more disruption to classroom environments than those who are not sober. For one, students who may be under the influence don't come to school under the influence every day throughout the school year. So opposed to students under the influence, sober students have no reason to disrupt the classroom other than because they feel.
Representative of the American Civil Liberties Union, what's your view about drug testing of high school students?
Well, we think that students are people too, that young people are people too, and that they have a right to be treated with respect for their dignity as human beings, just like all the rest of us. So that we think that we're opposed to the use of random or widespread drug testing in schools.
What about the notion of testing by anybody, regardless of whether the schools are asked to do it? Well, the law seems well established that by going to school, you do not give up your constitutional rights. Tinker versus Des Moines established that quite some time ago now. And the question then really becomes not so much do we want to test, but under what circumstances? Can we test just any old time we feel like it, or can we test for drugs only when we have reasonable suspicion that there is some kind of substance abuse going on? And that's really the critical issue is, can we test when we don't have that reasonable suspicion? And I think that there's some serious societal as well as constitutional problems.
Contention 3. Drug tests abuse our rights as citizens to unreasonable searches and seizures. The Fourth Amendment states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. What is the need to search for drugs use when the students are attending school? Why put pressure on students and parents by violating their rights of citizens of the United States of America? And use the time needed to teach a new curriculum and better enhance the students' academic performance. And better yet, insult parents by basically saying their parental skills are not up to par and they are not doing their job to keep their children safe and drug-free.